Hi, welcome back to my channel. Last time we made a toy box, so let's make some toys for it. First up, some toy soldiers. Cut short lengths of craft wire and fold them in half. Slip on a black bugle bead on each side to make the two legs. Make sure the beads are right down the end of the folded wire before giving the wire a twist to secure them in place. Add a small blob of tacky glue to the twist and thread on a large red seed bead over both the wire ends together to form the body. Then add another blob of tacky glue on the wire again and thread on a black oval shaped bead for the soldier's hat. You can get quite the production line going making these, and when they're dry add a touch of super glue to the very top before trimming off the excess wire. To make their tiny arms, I coloured a strip of Manilla cardstock with red marker, leaving a tiny strip at one side without colour to represent the hands. At this size, it's probably not necessary to colour both sides, but I did it anyway. While the ink dried, I used a dotting tool to add a tiny dot of flesh coloured paint on the bottom of the helmet beads for a face. It's too small for real detail, but the face dot does make a difference. Back to the arms. Trim off the excess cardstock and cut the arms 1mm wide and 3mm long. You'll need 2 for every soldier unless you have amputees in your army. Add them one to each side of the red body bead with a tiny dab of super glue gel. You can have the arms straight up and down for standing at attention or angled as if they're marching. To make them stand up by themselves, I cut small strips of balsa wood, tidied up the edges with a light sanding. I made a tiny dent with the dotting tool where I wanted the soldiers positioned. This dent is for where the wire at the feet is to nestle into. Glue the soldiers in place with a dollop of super glue gel on the feet end. Remember to have all your soldiers facing the right way and they're done. Next up, let's make one of those bead maze toys that seem to be in waiting rooms everywhere. Cut a square of balsa wood and sand the edges. I gave it a stain from watered down acrylic paint and dabbed off the excess and managed to spill the paint in the process. This is where I had a play with the wire and beads, trying to work out the twists and turns I needed that still allowed the beads to slide around. When I was happy with the shape, I made holes in the balsa wood with an awl. The beads are just large seed beads from my jar of random large seed beads. So now I have the wire shapes worked out and the beads threaded on. It's time to glue the ends of the wire with super glue gel and push them in the holes in the base. Some of my beads slid down before the glue dried and now they're permanently stuck at the bottom, but that's all done now. Okay, last toy for this tutorial, a pull along toy train. I had some 5mm square wooden dowel scraps that I used for the carriages. I cut them into 3 pieces for the 2 carriages and 1 engine base. Then 1 small cube for the engine cabin. You'll want the engine base to be a little longer than the carriages. I cut a piece of 5mm round dowelling to be about 2/3 the length of the engine base to be the boiler. I used super glue gel again to glue the cabin block and the boiler dowelling to the engine base. If you sand the boiler dowelling slightly to give it a flat side, it will be a lot easier to sit in place. I decided to paint my train with bright colours, and it took me a minute to realise the masking tape trick was going to make the painting much easier. To join the carriages together, I used a pin to poke holes in each end of the carriages and the engine, and then super glued short lengths of jewellery cable wire into the holes. It's flexible but strong. You'll need wire cutters to cut it. This is one of those situations where you're kind of sure in your head that it's going to work, but even though you still have some doubts about it, you're just going to go with it anyway and hope for the best. I'm using large seed beads again and super glue to put wheels on my train. They won't be working wheels, but they look the part. Every pull-along toy needs a pull string with a nice handle on the end. You'll need a longer piece of the cable wire, a tube crimp bead and a nail art stud. Glue the cable wire into the front of the engine base like you did with the carriages. Slide the crimp bead onto the wire. Put a dab of super glue on the end of the wire and slide the crimp bead back up into the glue. Add another dab of super glue and put the nail art stud on the end. It was looking cute, but something was missing. Can you guess? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so a few somethings were missing. I added nail art studs to all the wheels, and those studs are tricky suckers to try and pick up with tweezers, so I gave up and started to use my fingers. Did you guess a smokestack? You'd be right. I cut a tiny smokestack from a toothpick and the top piece for it from a bamboo barbecue skewer. I glued them together and onto the front of the train with super glue. I know what I'm doing here looks very dangerous, but I was being super careful and my finger was actually against the side of the blade, not underneath it. I was determined I wasn't going to lose another piece this time. Once the glue is set, paint it up to match and it's finished. Now let's see all the final results. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads, and leave a comment because I'd love to hear from you. It really helps my channel to grow. If you want to share your own crafty ideas and projects, join my Facebook page called Nessie Monster Crafts. And we have Fun Day Fridays where we can all show off our latest works in progress. If you can afford it, please consider buying me a coffee. Links for both my Facebook group and coffee account are in the description below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!